it's one of those things that this is why we play football. That's why we work in football. It's passion, and it looks we're down and out, but David pulled a great save off.
I've got one of the best penalty takers in the Premier League and also in Europe, so I think if I hadn't made the decision to do it, I would be more annoyed with myself. But it happens in management, you have to make decisions, and this one didn't go right today.
We could have about 3 hours today, you know that, don't you?
My phone has been red.
I know, it's amazing. Right, let's try and do this in the right order. Let us start with the penalty decision that was given, from which Mark Noble missed. OK, so we're starting right at the end of the game. It's a penalty. We'll all agree on that. I think even Manchester United would probably accept this was a penalty. This is why VAR was brought in. Hands away from the body, unnatural position.
Absolutely right, Mark. Hand away from the body from Luke Shaw. You can see quite clearly it was something we talked about pre-season with the clubs. The referee gave a corner, didn't see it. He went to the review area, looked at it, and we get the right outcome. It's a penalty, and Man United can have no complaints over that one.
Happened in the Crystal Palace Tottenham game. Yeah. Exactly the same scenario. Referees being consistent there.
I've got to say, though, always going to get it as a pen, always, but it's not an unnatural position. Just for the record, that is not an unnatural position.
Is it unnaturally bigger?
No, it's unnatural. If you move your feet in a certain way, you've got to move your arms in a certain way.
Now we've gone to American football, and here comes the specialist.
This is where my phone has been red hot. Mark Noble, no warm-up. He's took his tracksuit off. West Ham have got Lanzini on the pitch.
Yes.
They've got Declan Rice on the pitch.
Who scored 1 from 2.
They've got Aaron Cresswell on the pitch. They've got technicians on the pitch. Now, the reason why my phone's been red hot is because a lot of people up and down the country and around the world are looking at the fact that Mark Noble's their recognised penalty taker, who's not missed a penalty in 5 years. So everything leaned towards them being correct. What I'm saying on social media, and it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, but what I'm saying is you're not taking the emotion into consideration. Mark Noble has got a tracksuit on. The manager's come to him and said, you've got 1 kick, I'm bringing you on for 1 kick. That adds pressure.
He's got a tracksuit on, therefore not expecting to play because it's stoppage time.
Exactly.
He's actually got a bib on top of the tracksuit.
Yeah, he's got.
So now he knows Mark Noble, and I sat there watching the game with a West Ham friend of mine, and we watched Mark Noble run onto the pitch, and we both said, he's going to miss this. So then people have said, well, what happens if he scored? And my honest opinion is, and I know David Moyes quite well, I class him as a friend, but at the same time, I texted him after the Zagreb win, great win, but I've got to be honest, and I've got to put myself in no bias situation whatsoever. I criticise David Moyes, because even if you are going to add, and let's just say the number's 1%, which you can't measure, it could be 5%, could be 10%, could be whatever. If you're adding 1% of more duress or stress onto Mark Noble, then that's a bad decision, even if he scores it. So I'm watching that unfold, and
he's got a better rate. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt. He's got a better rate than Declan Rice,
yes, but Mark,
who's on the pitch.
This is what people are forgetting.
Mikel Antonio is suspended.
Mark, this is what people are forgetting. When you chuck these stats at an ex-pro, we'll tell you what it's like being inside of a dressing room. We'll tell you what it's like when you're playing on the pitch. We'll tell you what it's like when you come. I've been brought on in a scenario with 5 minutes to go in a game, then I've took the penalty. That's different than being, can you take your tracksuit off, Mark? And the scenario is Man United. And the scenario is the last seconds of the game. And the scenario is you've only got 1 kick and you've got to score. And I guarantee you, I know Mark really well, and he's a good friend of mine, but I guarantee you, without speaking to him, he would have felt unbelievably nervous in that scenario. More nervous than he would have been if he was on 15 minutes earlier or played a part in the game. That is unbelievable pressure.
That is a huge call for the manager to ask a senior pro who is brilliant at penalties normally. Right? Absolutely brilliant. But you have to take into consideration he's 34 years old. His muscles are very tight. You cannot strike a ball how you'd normally strike a ball if you'd been on the pitch. It's very different. Don's right. I wouldn't want... And you know the other thing as well, you've got to think about, how's Declan Rice feel? No, I'm not sure I trust you. Unless Declan Rice is saying, I don't want to take a penalty, you're making him feel like, well, he doesn't trust me to take it anyway. So, you know, then you've got to think about that psychological situation as well.
We're not talking about these West Ham players like Aaron Cresswell, like Declan Rice. You know, we're not talking about these guys like Lanzini, who can't take a penalty, and West Ham are the worst team in history. So you're bringing...
Yarmolenko's on there. Yarmolenko's very good.
So it's not like West Ham are the worst team in history, and you're bringing on a penalty taker whose record is extremely good. These guys are top-end professionals. penalties are hard enough as it is.
Yeah.
Never mind adding all that stress and duress in whatever percentage you think it might be. Like I said, even if it's 1%, which will be greater than that, it'll be 10, 15, 20%.
I don't think it was fair to do that. I don't think it was fair.
Let's move on. But interesting, you and I both thought the same thing, though. Hit it down the middle. Now, that would have been stressful. Because there's no way that De Gea's standing there. He's going to die.
But you don't know that. That's the thing.
I was saying...
That's the cat and mouse thing. You don't know. You do not know.
I think when you're trying to gauge percentages, which I am the worst man in the world to try and gauge percentages, and maths is not my bag whatsoever, I was saying to Mark there, I was watching it with a West Ham friend of mine. We were just about to go on air and do the Lazio game, and I'm watching it, and I said out loud, I said, Mark, think of what I would have told you here. Pressure. Go right down the middle. Last seconds of the game, there's no way on this earth David De Gea is standing still. He's either going to go that way or he's going to go that way. Go down the middle. And this is what I'm saying about the pressure. So Mark, in normal circumstances, might even tell us in days to come, I was actually going to go down the middle. But the whole pressure of the scenario actually made him go to the wrong side. Because we were saying about when you take a penalty, Dion, it's easier to kick it to your left-hand side as you see it. So
you're right-footed,
You started on the goalkeeper and you're whipping it away from the goalkeeper. The right side, as in which way he went, brings the goalkeeper into the equation.
He brought it back into the goalkeeper's range, didn't he? So that was given and missed. Right. We have got 3 Ronaldo penalties to look at, and we've also got another West Ham penalty appeal to look at. Let's start with Ronaldo. Great to have Ronaldo back in the league. We're going to have a few of these now, aren't we? OK, let's take these in order. Chris Foy.
Absolutely. I've looked at that one and I'm thinking to myself, Martin Atkinson is in a terrific position to make a judgment on this. But when you see that, the leg's clearly out. And that's a penalty.
Yeah, 100%.
Look with
Because the defender
well.
moves his right leg out.
Yeah, if Sofal stands still, and he's standing still and Ronaldo has a little bit of bodily contact, it's the fact he put his right leg out.
Yeah,
that's not a pen. That's a
no
dive.
pen.
That's just contact in the box, isn't it? That's fine.
Cresswell touches it.
Cresswell here.
The telltale sign is there as well, is you roll your body.
Yeah.
You throw yourself under.
It's a little bit like the Simicast one in the Liverpool
So one
game.
should have been given, one correctly not given. This is really interesting because I thought this was a penalty. You have told me.
I thought if you watch Ronaldo's right foot, the drag, watch the toe drag across the floor there. So he knows he wants to go down. He's waiting for the contact. Some people would have given that. I thought it was a pen when I first seen it. Then when you have a look at it, analyse it, for me that's no pen. But the very first one, is it Sofal?
Sofal,
yes.
Sofal. I think that was.
I think that is a fantastic decision by the referee, and to detect that is really good to get yourself in that position. But I'm really scared at the minute because he keeps shouting.
Yeah, but hold on a minute. It took 2 to get this one wrong. Yeah, he should have got the first 2 right.
So first one should have been a pen.
Yeah.
Next 2 correctly given, not pen.
Yeah.
West Ham correctly given pen. Right about this in stoppage time. What about this one?
Yeah.
This one, there's an added complication about was it offside, which we'll never know because the penalty wasn't given. We don't need to know if it was offside or not. I hope you're still with me.
I think it was Bruno. It was Bruno and Luke Shaw that might have been playing Souček onside. I mean, how that's not a penalty, I'll never know.
Yeah, it's definitely. Again, I mean, the referee's gotten himself in a good position. He obviously wasn't sure. The VAR has looked at that and didn't think that it was clearly and obviously wrong. If the referee, like you say, Mark, gives a penalty there, obviously they check the attacking phase of play and was there an offside. So that's a really interesting one to look at. I know the refs today are at St George's Park. That's one they'll be discussing.
I don't know what is his explanation when you say, was it Martin?
Martin, yeah.
Martin, what happened there? Why did you give that? What's his explanation?
Yeah. Well, he can only judge on what he sees, and he didn't think it was a foul. I would imagine it's probably because of where the defender was. Did the defender foul the attacker? But it's happening so quick these days, Dion.
Yeah, it is.
And,
it is.
you know, he's made some really good decisions in the match there on penalties, and that one is one to reflect on, and I'm sure they'll discuss and look at it.
Will he, among you guys, among his peers, say, listen, I think I might have got that one wrong. Will he admit to the people that he needs to admit to and say, might have got that wrong and need to be careful next time?
Referees are really honest. I mean, there was nobody greater than me than saying, you know, I'd got it wrong. But what was more
concerning... I thought you were going to say there was no one greater than me then. You should have stopped there. That would have been amazing.
No. Well, what you have to do is, it's fine saying, I've got it wrong, which is great. We've all been there and done it. It's don't do it again.
Yeah, correct.
And how did you get it wrong? Reflect on what you've done and how you got it wrong. And then you can say to yourself, well, learn from your mistake, because we've all been there.
I had it at the weekend. I had it in the Arsenal game. We'll see it later on. And I thought... definite penalty for Burnley,
Yes,
100%.
really nice, yeah.
I then come and Ian Wright went hell for leather and he had a real go at me. Went, did you not see the touch, Ramsdale? See it? And then I seen it and I went, oh, yeah.
I'm interested that VAR didn't get involved in that, actually.
Yes.
Did
you
VAR
say you were
say,
sorry?
let's have a look at that, then you could have a look at it, then we'd have to have a look at the
Correct,
offside.
yeah.
Shall we have a look at the goals as well?
Yes,
Manchester
yes,
United come
yes,
from
yes.
behind again to win a game. A bit of luck about the opening goal, obviously, with a huge...
Well, a little
defence.
bit of luck, but is there any chance of Rafa Varane being a little bit more brave?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a
back,
top-class
isn't he?
defender. He winces on the first one, turns his back on the second one. Got to be stronger than that. I mean, he's had a great start and he's an unbelievable player.
I think that's part of the course. As a defender, you have to know you're going to get hit in the face or hit in places where it's going to hurt you, but you have to be there, stand up straight, side on, tucks his arms in. Fair enough not to.
Quite a few
If you
of
watch him here.
Good effort. They tried to block him there, whoever's coming in
Well,
there.
Wan-Bissaka tries.
Yeah,
Greenwood, Wan-Bissaka.
Greenwood it is, yeah. Greenwood tries to block him, but yeah.
They get lucky with that one, but if you don't shoot, you don't score, so to speak. But he's got to be braver.
This equaliser, you've got to love Ronaldo because he's done this all his career. That he is momentarily offside, nothing wrong with that, Chris. Not an offence in and of itself. But then he makes sure he's onside. Look, he's off, and then he makes sure he's back on when the ball comes.
It's the movement, Mark. It's the sharpness. He's walking in an offside position.
Watch Ogbonna. Watch Ogbonna.
But
Has
watch Ronaldo's...
no idea where he is.
Watch his movement. Watch the sharpness. Sharp him off.
Yeah.
And that's intelligence. That's game recognition. That's realising who's on the ball. Bruno Fernandes. So the chances are he's going to complete that assist.
As a defender, when the ball goes out, you come out as a unit.
Yeah.
4 or 5 yards, you come out, you go, and you're looking at your line. You're not looking at the player. It's amazing.
And this is a brilliant goal from Jesse Lingard. You can have your own views on not celebrating when you're on loan for 4 months at a club.
I like...
what a finish.
Off the back of his mistake against Young Boys in the Champions League, being mentally strong. He gets put on against, I'll say, loosely his former club. And that is an incredible finish.
Brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. You know, he said he's staying at the club. He could have gone in the summer. He's said he's not going to sign a new deal, so he'll be on a Bosman, a free transfer next year. But if he does that, even though there is Sancho and Rashford and Greenwood and Cavani and Ronaldo, he'll play his game.
I've seen, when Jesse's been on the pitch, I've seen more from Jesse than I have from Sancho at the moment.
Yes.
Rashford, we haven't seen him for a while.
No,
Greenwood,
Rashford's
we know
injured.
can be outstanding. But at the moment, when it comes to affecting a football match, Jesse's been brilliant.
So I was driving home, listening to it, with about 5 minutes to go, I'm thinking, they dropped points again and they drew at Southampton and they got over the line against Wolves. They're not in Chelsea or City's or Liverpool's
But getting
league.
over the line ugly is good.
No, that was 5 minutes before the end. And then at full time, I'm going, fair dues.
Yes,
fair
yes.
dues, you've won the game.
And Ollie was under pressure.
Yeah.
Losing the Champions League game.
Yes,
dropping
losing
points
that
against
game.
West Ham. He knows, he said that this morning. You know, he was under pressure until they got the winning goal. It's something I'll still stand by off the back of last season. They can't keep going behind Man United. I understand it's in their character and it's a good thing that, contradiction, but it's a good thing that they've got the bottle to do it and the character to do it. The very best sides won't allow them to do it. And West Ham were really unlucky.
They played well, West Ham.
Because they played
really well.
They were
really
unlucky they didn't take
no,
something out of the game.
Good game, actually.
Brilliant game.
Good game.
Oh, fantastic
Very good game.
Well, we've had 5 penalty chats, haven't we? And a winner
game.
right at the end.
First game.
Fantastic stuff. OK, that's it for part 1. After the break, we're off to Tottenham.